Okay, let me paint a picture for you. You're browsing for a couch on your phone, then you head to the store to see it in person, and then you go back home to order it online for delivery. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. And that's not just you being picky. It's a massive shift in how we all shop. The seamless blend of the online and offline worlds is called Omnichannel, and it is definitely not an accident. In this explainer, we're going to break down how this complex new world of retail actually works. So let's start with a perfect real-world story. Back in 2013, the Wall Street Journal wrote about a teacher named Paula Cuneo. She ordered 10, that's right, 10 pairs of corduroy pants from Gap's website. She tried them all on at home, picked the ones she liked, and then just sent 7 pairs back. Now for Paula, that's just being a smart, efficient shopper. But for Gap? Well, that's a logistical nightmare that pretty much sums up the central challenge of all of modern retail. Paula's story really gets to the heart of a question we've all probably felt, right? Why has shopping become so incredibly flexible and convenient for us, the shoppers, but at the same time so unbelievably complex for the companies we're buying from? The answer is pretty simple. It's all about how these retailers are racing to keep up with you. So yeah, welcome to the omni-channel world. It's a space where we as customers just expect to be able to move between a physical store, a website, and a mobile app without even thinking about it. And this creates a huge dilemma for every single retailer out there. How do you give people all the information they want to make a decision without creating a total mess when it's time to actually deliver the physical product?
To really get this, let's just break retail down into 2 fundamental parts. First, you've got providing information. You know, the research, the reviews, the specs on a website. Let's call this the world of digital bits. And then second, you have the product fulfillment. That's the actual physical items showing up at your door. We'll call that the world of physical atoms. For hundreds of years, these 2 things, bits and atoms, always happened in the exact same place, the store. But now, that's all changing. Today, those 2 functions, getting the information and getting the product, are being pulled apart and then put back together in all sorts of new and fascinating ways. And luckily for us, some researchers from Wharton and Harvard came up with a really simple framework that makes it all make sense. They call it the Information and Fulfillment Matrix. And here it is. This simple little grid explains the entire modern retail landscape. So down the side, you've got how you get information, either offline in a store or online. And then across the top, you've got how you get the product. Either you pick it up in a store or it gets delivered. So quadrant 1, that's your classic old school retail. You get info offline and you pick up the product right there. Think about a store like HomeGoods. Quadrant 4 is the total opposite. You get info online and it gets delivered. That's pure e-commerce, like Amazon. For a long time, that's all there was. But the real revolution, and what we're talking about today, is what's happening in those other 2 boxes. And this is the key insight right here. The biggest, most important innovations aren't just about getting rid of physical stores and moving everything online. The real game changers are these hybrid models, the ones that cleverly split apart how we get information from how we get the actual product. So let's see how this actually works. We're going to look at 2 companies that have absolutely mastered these hybrid strategies. Starting with the model where you get information online, but you pick up the product offline. Let's take Crate & Barrel's buy online, pick up in store, or what they call their BOPS strategy. So imagine you find a sofa you absolutely love on their website, but instead of just clicking buy and kind of hoping for the best, you can see that it's in stock at your local store. So you go there, you can touch the fabric, you can test out the cushions, and then you buy it right there, totally confident. And you get to skip the uncertainty and the wait for delivery. Okay, but here is the fascinating, totally counterintuitive result. Crate & Barrel's management, they expected this new feature to boost their online sales, but the exact opposite happened. Their online sales actually went down. Why? Because the traffic and sales in their physical stores went way, way up. People were using the website like a giant risk-free catalog. They were getting the bits and then coming into the store to make the final purchase. And of course, they often ended up buying even more once they were there. Okay, so that's getting your info online and then buying in a store. What about the other way around? Let's talk about a company that started online and then moved into the physical world, just to provide information. Let's look at Warby Parker. Warby Parker started as an online-only glasses company, but then they did something really interesting. They opened up physical showrooms. And just look at the impact. In areas where they opened a store, their overall sales shot up by 9%. But get this, their online sales in that same area also went up by 3.5%. The physical store wasn't stealing from their online sales. It was acting like a giant billboard that made the whole brand stronger. But the showroom solved another even bigger problem. You see this number? 1/3. That is the estimated portion of all products bought online that get sent back. Just think back to Paula and her 7 pairs of pants. For any online-only company, those returns are a massive, expensive headache that just eats away at their profits. And this is what those showrooms helped fix. By letting customers come in and actually try on the glasses in person, they made better, more confident choices. And what does that mean? Fewer returns. The showroom wasn't just a marketing gimmick to drive sales. It was an efficiency engine that actually cut the company's costs. This idea of separating information and fulfillment goes way beyond just a single retailer. We're now starting to see entire industries reconfigure themselves around this very same principle, creating what are known as digitally integrated value chains. Now, I know that sounds super complicated, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It's basically a network of different companies where each one specializes in one small part of the process, and they all work together to create what feels like a single, seamless experience for you. The real magic is that all the hard work, all the coordination, it all happens behind the scenes, powered by technology. The easiest way to wrap your head around this is to just think about a traditional restaurant. You've got the kitchen, the dining room, the system for taking orders, the payment system. It's all bundled together under one roof. But what happens when you unbundle all of that? Well, this is what the unbundled restaurant looks like. You place an order on a platform like Glovo. That order gets instantly zapped over to something called a cloud kitchen, like Kitopi, which is basically just a kitchen with no storefront, cooking for dozens of different brands. Then Glovo's platform tells a courier to go pick it up and bring it to your door. You just got a delicious meal from what felt like one single restaurant, but it was actually 3 separate businesses, all working together in perfect sync. So where is all of this going? What does it mean for the future? Well, the destination seems to be a world that is completely and almost invisibly seamless. As some researchers at MIT put it, the lines between physical and online are basically vanishing. The entire world is becoming a kind of showroom where you can get information anywhere and have products delivered from anywhere else. So, if there's one big thing to take away from all of this, it is the power of unbundling. Digital technology is letting us take every single service, from getting information to actually making a product, and break it apart, and then reassemble it in new, more efficient, and way more convenient ways. And that leaves us with a final thought. We've seen this happen with shopping, and we've seen it with restaurants. So as this trend of unbundling just keeps going, powered by all this digital integration, what other parts of our daily lives, our work, our education, even our health, are going to be taken apart and then put back together in ways we probably can't even imagine yet?